Hello everyone, this is part number 7 of our CDR Trozan Sky Shard Druid. Again, CDR means cooldown reduction. Basically, our point is to bring this cooldown to the bare minimum. We need offhand, several skills, and later on we're gonna have a relic, Eternity. We are ahead for Malmouth, but first we have to change some components and stuff. We're going in an area with heavy ether damage, so this is ideal moment to swap my medals slot for ether soul, which I have to buy, I think. Yep, I have to buy this. I think this guy sells that. It's quite expensive as a craft, and I'm pretty broke at the moment because it needs 3 wardstone. This is 3 crystals and another 3 on top, which is 12 for a build like mine. This is pretty expensive, but it's completely necessary. I can't approach the most ether, basically dense area in the game with such a low ether resistance. I'm gonna lose 2 bleeding, but bleeding is okay. Usually normal, it's not very big deal because bleeding comes basically as a dot damage. There is no hard part, like for example poison and acid. This is just dot damage and it's very easy to mitigate that. It's not extremely hard. We are pretty much set for the next part of the game. Don't forget to cast your devils. Damage is absolutely high, and it's gonna become even more powerful when I craft my Hound relic and I get rid of my left click. It starts to fall off, and it's very energy consumption of this component is quite high. We have several procs as well. We have a extra sky shard that falls which is always damage on top. There is a hero. I one-shot it. I didn't even manage to read the name. As I explained, Trozan Sky Shard is an iconic class. It's a very good for a starter. At the current meta, it's not very good against certain bosses, but definitely better than most. For example, this is a very good crate killer if you want to kill crate, because usually for a crate kill you need a high burst damage build that can dish out damage quick with a single attacks, and definitely you want to be in a range distance or mid range, because crate's gonna nerf you if you are at melee and you're gonna lose lots of your damage potential. Also, this is a okay mock Drogon killer. Definitely gonna delete Bourbon's clones. I don't even discuss that. Bourbon clones is very easy as a celestial. And Locker as well, thanks to the high cooldown sustain, and I can nullify him as well, basically to reduce his elemental damage, which is gonna help the fight significantly. And you can see I just one cast and the totem was gone. There is some cold base ethereals that not gonna take full damage. I have to check my dynamite supply, we are kinda short. My advice is always kill the sentinels, they drop rare materials, sometimes clusters, shards, and very rarely they drop crystals. Here is a devotion shrine that I definitely want. I want to finish my giant and focus a little bit more on either damage or sustain. I'm gonna decide it on the go. Next act is gonna come with tons of upgrades. So next point giant, we have a crossroad again. But I think this one is the better note. 70 life regen is absolutely huge. It stacks with all of my gear and stuff. So I'm gonna have a reasonable amount, which is close to 200. That's totally okay for the campaign. It's gonna block lots of dot damage that I receive. And it's gonna top up my health bar as well when I reposition, and this is gonna be boosted by my basically giant's proc. Myrmidons, this is a very annoying mobs. They gonna cast mirror, and honestly it's not worth it to basically use nullification on them. They are just not worth the time and effort. Also I'm gonna stick to the objective. I don't plan to kill everything. This area is pretty densey. I'm gonna use my Trozan on a cooldown basically. It's good to master repositioning when you play CDR casters. This is one of my favorite basically play styles in this game. It offers a lot. and it's tons of fun. There is a proper rotation casters as well if you like this type of playstyle, but honestly Trozan is one of my favorite. And also Trozan receive okay MI support. It's not amazing, it's basically just weapon and offhand, but synergy between them is pretty good. We have Amulet as well. Unfortunately the quest is unlocked later at Elite. I don't want to grind Throneless Hideout for this quest. We are almost on the way to max completely Trozan. This is a very important detonation site. At the moment this is only a reliable source that I have to farm crystals, and I need some as well. At the moment our sustain is okay. I got Maven to 22% absorb. Ideally I want 25. I can use Helm to achieve these numbers. Go across. You can face tank him, is not problem at all. On a burst build like this, it's gonna be 2-3 casts, no more, so around 6 seconds battle. Especially bosses with such a huge hitbox, they're gonna take all the shards. The only flaw for this build is humanoids. That's exactly my size. It's very hard to hit them with the area effect. Trozan gets slightly buffed, comes with a little bit AoE, which helps basically in a fight like this. Let's take Willpower quest. It's that annoying quest with the corpse cards that I have to destroy. But it's what it is. I'm gonna sell some stuff so I can open some space. This area is pretty dense. I'm gonna check Galacross plate. It comes with Overlord, so honestly it's an okay resistance apart from everything else, but I don't think it's worth keeping that. For now my armor slot works okay, gives me what I need, but definitely I have to change it at some point. It's a way too defensive armor, so I lack some damage. Which is basically not noticeable because Trozan is a very good skill. Especially when you mix that with Shaman. And especially now when window was permanent, you don't have to recast them. This build was slightly annoying to play, but now feels so smooth. I just focus on my damage skills. I don't have to recast every 15 seconds basically these devils. And honestly, this is huge quality of life from the last patch. Makes a lot of builds much more viable. For example, this brings Cold Trickster to the top, because usually on an auto-attacking build you want to cast as less as possible skills so you don't disrupt your auto-attacking. And when they make Wind Devils permanent pets, this build just goes from the very bottom to the very top. At the moment is a top 3 build according to the softcore elite. You can check top 20 builds in GRIMTOOLS. Usually a lot of people, softcore players, basically a very skilled one, they put this list every year, basically after every huge changes and patches, so they basically keep track on the meta, which is nice, and I appreciate these guys, because thanks to them you can see what works out, what's the changes. They test a lot of stuff, items, combinations, strategies, gameplay. So huge thanks to them for that, because Grim Dawn community is actually very small. This is not some massive game like Diablo 2 or Path of Exile or something like this. After all, it's just single player game. But let's go back to the... I always kill this guy. Nico is basically one of the most interesting encounters in the game. Even if you choose the right conversation options, there is a chance 50-50 he's gonna be hostile again. So what's the point? Just kill him. You're gonna save yourself time. And this is the only encounter like this in Grim Dawn. And in the other hand, he can't believe you. And that's gonna be the happy ending. You're gonna send all of them, and he's gonna give you some components, but they are pretty much basic. So this is the main difference between the two quests. But honestly, this component don't worth the time that you have to spend talk with him, pick the right options, and cross fingers as well. This is a good find. Northern Ram is actually a component that I'm looking for before I get my endgame one. This is gonna drop my charge to 3 seconds. And it's gonna add some crowd control. So every time I reposition, I'm gonna crowd control as well. This for me is massive. Now there is one of the cards, but the other one is slightly at the back. There is a guaranteed dynamite here, and I run out of mine. So this is a sweet find. One of the cards here. The next one, actually, I saw her. I saw it, sorry. But I'm gonna need some time to reach that point. It's kinda annoying. I like the idea of Malmouth, but navigation here is quite hard. And you can get easily killed if you don't pay attention. You can get body blocked by tons of mobs. Several very skilled players lose their characters during the league because body blocked and being unable to So usually these cards, they vary. They are fixed spawn location with a little bit of difference, few yards. It's not huge. Sometimes this one is over here instead of over here, which is not big difference in the same area basically. The next boss gonna be in a favor of our build. It has one of the biggest hitting box in the game. So I'm gonna immediately destroy him. I'm gonna apply my debuffs. And it's gonna be a 3 casts. So 6 seconds for this big guy. Just Trozan likes bosses like this with big hitboxes. So they can take the full benefit from the shotgun.
I was beginning to agree.
And it's time for the real fun to begin. The next area is quite better than the last one.
I've spoken with.
That's level 50. This is the last time I take 3 points for my level up. So I have to spend them wisely. I'm gonna check this one. We lost tons of bleed, tons of chaos. We earn nullification and mirror and defensive proc. No damage at all. This is way too low for chaos. I can swap my component and bring it to 75. But this gonna be after I got Hound. I need some filler between the casts. Okay, this is max out. Now is a good moment to take mirror. This is basically gonna make you invincible for a short duration, 3 seconds. It's a basically baby version of the cluster, but much powerful one because the absorb is 100%. And soft captain hardcore is recommended about this skill. Also on a high CDR caster this gonna be on a better cooldown later on. And I can place 1 point Wind Devils, I mean Ragging Tempest. And now I can start progressing my Shaman Mastery to unlock all skin for a better resistances and stuff. Actually, I did a mistake, I take the wrong route. For now, build seems okay, pretty stable. Astral Rumination Ring, we can try. Not huge difference in the damage and stuff. It's not our ring, but I think this gonna be better. Yep, this provides more stuff. Stats. Also didn't affect my vitality rest, so I can use different component. And I'm gonna use actually Mark of Illusions for a better defensive ability and energy regeneration. Keep in mind, Slit Primal Ring, it's totally okay if you don't have a replacement like me. It's not necessary to fully copy the build. I can finish normal with this gear, no problem at all. I can do elite as well. But my plan for elite is just to unlock my MI farming. So basically I have to beat Act 1 again. but it's much easier to farm your early MIs at Elite instead of Ultimate. I'm gonna nullify him. He's not very dangerous, but I want to use my cooldowns properly.
There you are. Well,
Wilford's gonna send us for supplies. But the most important thing is the vendor that I want to refresh until I get Hound. This is not the best area for Trozans. Sometimes the roof is gonna block them. Don't happen very often, but still quite annoying. This is the first supply point. Basically, it's in the line with detonation site. Try to not miss it. Usually you can't miss it because this is the actual way you have to go. You can use this route as well, but you're gonna miss the supply. Navigating Malmouth properly is half of the game. The map can be pretty deceiving. But Malmouth is a very rich area, it's very dense, tons of easy quests, very rewardable as well, compared to other areas like Barrelholm for example. This is the most dumbest NPC in the game, he just wants to die. But he gonna share to you, he is usually a grocery store owner, so he's gonna give you the location of his grocery store. We got honored with Black Legion, which means immediately I have to buy their writ. I think I get honored with Homestead as well. So I'm gonna do a quick scan, what I can afford. I am level 50 as well, but I don't have materials to craft Northern Ram. So first I'm gonna buy the writ and I'm gonna check their stuff. Usually I'm pretty sure they don't have cold stuff, but they have bonus damage to Ethereals, which is gonna help me in the next attack. So I'm gonna buy few of those. Gonna check the rings, nothing for us. Time for a homestead. Again, gonna buy the writ. 1 to Shaman Belt is not a bad thing. It's gonna boost my Shaman skill, but Arcanist I think is better. A cold generic ring. Not too bad. Let's see the amulets. Nothing interesting. Let's see the weapon augments. This is actually not bad. Can check my stun resistance. Where did my stun resistance go? Oh, I closed the tab. I was so shocked. Yeah, 35 is quite low. There is no much stun users in the next act. But this is still a nice... I'm gonna buy a few of them as well. I think I have enough damage. I'm gonna put some sustain. 55 is much better. I'm gonna let Barnabas knows about this. Nothing interesting. Don't overwrite your rift. Don't do that silly mistake. Just use the rift gates when you got rift outside. This quest comes with reputation. I definitely want that reputation. Let's check. Nothing interesting. It's time to move forward. Quite happy with my shopping. Getting extra armor and extra resistances is a good thing. My wind devils drop again. In some reason. This is the Richter store. One shot chest basically. Nothing special. If you don't have dynamite, there is a guaranteed one over here. That was a 50k crit, which is massive for this part of the game. I'm gonna top up my crystal supply. Definitely have to do some farming outside of recording, sorry, so I can top up my wealth a little bit. There is a very important side quest. I want to save Hiram. And I want to save a girl as well. They're pretty close to each other. He's at this house with few other refugees. They are shown at the map when you approach. A thing that I forgot is to take Yvonne's memory quest. This is one of the quests that's not gonna trigger if you don't spoke with the NPC before. And this is one of the few quests like this, usually Grim support. A very nice mechanic. You can finish quest without talk with the most of NPCs. My sustain is quite high now. I think I can focus on damage for the next devotion. And in this building, exactly before Crown Hill, is the Yvonne's memory. This quest have two different outcomes. My advice is to do both, because one of them is connected to the achievement at Steam, if you have a Steam version of the game. But apart from that, I prefer just to give it to her instead of take the treasure by myself. It's a quite large treasure room, but honestly I didn't find anything and I think it's a waste of time. There is a one-shot chest here at this exact building. We have to catch up on money as well. That's level 51. Gonna save some distance. I'm gonna work out on a shaman. I need more stats so I can progress the build better. I'm gonna play spirit. I think my physique is in a good condition. I'm gonna focus on basically cloth armor. I'm gonna explain to you how to navigate Crown Hill. The first exhausting vent is here. At this point I can switch off the normal greens. I'm gonna keep the monster infrequents and always shows double rare. That's gonna show all the greens that contain double rare suffix prefix, so they can sell better than regular greens. After that immediately you go Crown Hill. Here is a boss. Not very favorable fight for this build, because she's a humanoid, so she's basically have a small hitbox. But the good thing is I can nullify her and just significantly decrease her damage. She's a fire and lighting user. And actually I aggro her, but she can shotgun. This is the most dangerous thing, this meteor. If you avoid it, you're pretty much safe. We got totem as well. I'm gonna finish my giant's blood. And next step is gonna be Amatok probably. I like the proc. It's a blizzard. It's very similar to a blizzard from Diablo 2, and I like the animation. It comes with weapon damage, so this gonna proc my lifesteal. Next step, you have to grab this route over here. and go for the second exhausting vent. Stick to the ground floor, don't go at the second, and you're gonna found it. So it's here. Remember, for the second exhaust vent, just stick to the first floor. For the third one is quite different. We're gonna go for the second floor and one of the terrace. And this is the fastest way to do this quest. Completely ignore the east part of the map. And this is where we're gonna pick the second floor. Actually, it's not here, sorry, it's the next building. I did a mistake. So here is when we stick to the second floor, sorry. We're gonna pick the terrace. We're going down again. And the next vent is over here. You're gonna saw it when you get closer. Over here. And as you can see, it took me like 2-3 minutes. Not so long. And I already unlocked the last part. I pop up mirror by mistake. It's not good to waste a cooldown like this. But just muscle memory. Usually I put my healing skills like Blood of Druid, Vigor and that kind of stuff on the number 3 in my quest, in my skill bar, sorry. This is one of the most disturbing areas. You can hear screams and stuff if you play with the sound. I'm gonna stick to the objectives. I'm gonna make few kills. There is a secret area over here. When you approach this vent, you have to just, you can see, and this is actually one-shot chest. It looks like it's not, but we have to search for his 3 generals basically. One of them is our old friend Krieg, Warden Krieg. This guy over here, as I explained several times, is not related to any quest, but he contains some loot. I like to kill him for the loot. If you save him, no impact for you. And I'll rather take the loot instead of be a good guy. He is Ethereal, so this is a pretty bad spawn. They spawn next to each other. And Warden Creek, he has a fixed spawn location. Basically, these guys, they built a maternity ward and they start to experiment on humans. Instead of possess them, they just decide to reproduce Ethereals. So that's keep the vessel basically live for way much longer. It's a very disturbing scene here. You can see women's attached to this basically monstrosity device. And the Ethereals, basically the Theodin Marcell plan is to speed up the process. So basically they giving birth pretty fast, and this device keeps them alive. It's a very disgusting scene, but Grim Dawn is usually a very gory game. Theodin Marcell, we have to be careful. The battle comes in 3 phases. But my damage is quite high. Just save distance. Be careful when he activates the crystals. He activated crystals. I'm gonna pop up mirror. I don't want to end up like my gunner, which dies to this mechanic. Let's bring back some quests.
Tell me. Can't afford to. Good workout.
Captain, I'll give you a good price on what I've got left.
Another seal of royal crown. I'm gonna put a physique. Chaos resistance boots with elemental damage. I'm worth keeping that. When I need Basically chaos resistance. I can use this on a swap. I think I can give up on this ring already. This one is bad one as well. And now I'm gonna work on a shaman. I'm gonna reset the game. So I have Hiram as a vendor. I have to look for a Hound relic.
Come see what's left of what wares.
We don't get it, but that's okay. I can just jump for a couple of seconds in a different location. This is how you reset the vendor. You can make a few steps and come back again.
Come see what's left of what wares.
So brand new wares. Inferno, Corruption, Marauder's Talisman. This is how you reset the vendor. I'm not gonna do it during the recording. I'm gonna do it on my own. And I'm gonna share how much resets took me. But this is everything from this episode. Thank you everyone for watching. See you in the next one.